What's up guys, my name is Amir, welcome back to the channel, and this is my desk setup tour for 2022, where I'm going to take you through my own personal battle station, which I use as my main setup for managing my video production and other businesses. I did one of these videos last year as well, and that video has been my best performing video on this channel so far. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to leave a link in the description below. But since then, my desk setup did change a bit, and there's been one big upgrade. And then there are also some incremental sort of upgrades to just refine and add new functionalities. So I think let's just go ahead and start the tour. And the first thing we're going to talk about is, of course, this desk. It's a real conversation starter with many of my viewers, especially on my other channel. This is a standing desk that I picked up from Autonomous on their Cyber Monday sale. It's the Smart Desk 2 Premium in matte black. And I just got these legs as part of a DIY kit, so it came in a box and I had to put it together myself, which was a fairly simple process. The benefit with these sit-stand desks is that they encourage you to, from time to time, stand up while you work, which is way better than being slouched on a chair all the time. And that is something most of us do a lot of in this day and age. On the right side, I have this controller that lets me store 4 preset heights, and these arrow keys let me make manual adjustments. On top of the desk is this IKEA Carlby countertop, which is meant to be a kitchen countertop, but I'm sure you've seen it on other YouTubers' setups as well. And to be honest, I'm a bit over this whole walnut wood look. I've had it for a while, and I'm actually thinking of changing this to white instead. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. As for the chair, it's nothing fancy. It's just an office chair, which I'm using with this support cushion for better lumbar support. And I think in today's tech-oriented lifestyle, ergonomics do matter a lot because we're spending a lot of time on our computers. So if you're planning your own desk setup, you should consider the ergonomics as well. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the single biggest upgrade to my setup this year, and that is this brand new Mac Studio. I got it a couple of months back, and there's a more detailed video here on the channel. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description if you want to check it out. But this is what I was talking about in the intro. You know that one big upgrade that I mentioned? Before this, I was using a 16-inch MacBook Pro with the Intel Core i9 chip, whereas this bad boy has Apple's second most powerful chip, the M1 Max. And this is the base variant, so we have a 10-core CPU, 24-core GPU, 16-core neural engine, 32 gigs of unified memory, and 512 gigs of storage. Now in the Mac Studio video, I did talk about why I chose this one instead of the M1 Ultra, but even with the M1 Max chip, I think this machine is really good for professionals. And yeah, 512 gigs of storage is too little for me, especially considering video production, but then again, most of our work is done on external hard drives anyway. So before this Mac Studio, the best we could do was to record everything in 4K ProRes and then upload the final video in 1440p. But this Mac Studio has now made it possible for us to record everything in Blackmagic 6K RAW and then publish our final videos in 4K. Which, if you're a video producer, you can understand is a pretty massive change. But I think this Mac Studio handles it like a champ. Doesn't get warm, there's no fan noise, nothing. I love it. So then we move on to what I consider the centerpiece of my desk setup and something that gives it its personality, which is this 32-inch LG 4K ultrafine ergo monitor. Now this monitor is the same as last time, and back when I got it, the reason was that I wanted to transition to 4K videos, which is now done. But along with the 4K resolution, it also offers pretty decent color accuracy, at least for my needs, and I mostly depend on scopes anyway. Then there's also a light version of HDR10 because this display doesn't really get very bright. But on the whole, I think it does what I need it to do. And for me, what makes this monitor special is the ergonomic monitor arm that it comes with. It kind of gives the monitor this floating effect, which looks beautiful and also offers the practical benefit that I can then keep things underneath my monitor. But before we go there, looky what we have here. This is another new addition to my setup, the Logitech Brio 4K webcam. Now I'm sure you can understand that in my line of work, video calls and live streams are commonplace. And because I'm a tech geek, I wanted a webcam that is good enough for both video calls and live streams. And when I was looking around, this Logitech Brio kind of stood out. It does 4K, has autofocus, and lets me change a bunch of settings manually. So, it kind of fit the bill. Coming back down below the monitor is my audio interface, Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, along with my desk charger and my unboxing knife. Before I talk about the audio setup here, let's get these two out of the way first. So the desk charger is by RAV Power. It's a 65 watt GAN charger. I basically needed something that had USB-C and USB-A so I could charge all my gadgets with it. Then I needed something small. This uses GAN tech, which makes it smaller in size. And I wanted something that looks good as well. This one kind of looks cute and fits in with the vibe, I think. And then this unboxing knife is by a company called Microtech. This is the Ultratech OTF. OTF basically means out the front. And not only does it look really cool when I'm unboxing something, it's also got that practical advantage of one-handed usage. Quickly out, quickly back in. Now back to this Focusrite Scarlett audio interface. It allows me to connect all my audio devices to my computer via USB. And what are those audio devices, you ask? Well, we have these glorious Yamaha HS8 studio monitors, where the 8 means we have 8-inch bass drivers, which can rock this entire studio. And the reason they're called monitors is because they provide reference audio, which means that they don't add any treble or any bass, and what you get from them, kind of the pure version of the audio that you're working with. And I gotta say, I really love these. They pump out some really good sound and they get really, really loud. Then we have two more of my most prized possessions connected to this audio interface. The first is this Shure SM7B dynamic microphone, which is a studio grade mic, really good for radio, podcasts, and voiceovers. You have to be really close when you're speaking to it, but the benefit is that it rejects most of the sound around you, and the sound that comes from it is rich and full. And the second prized possession are these Audio-Technica monitor headphones, ATH M50X. And the reason that I got these is basically because they weren't very highly priced and they still give really good reference audio. You can even use them to listen to music. I think the sound that comes out of them is really good. And there's also a Bluetooth version now. Then the next item on the list is basically like a super dongle. The backstory here is that before the Mac Studio, I was using a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and those were notorious for having no I/O or ports whatsoever. And this CalDigit TS3 Plus was a very convenient way of getting 15 ports out of just one Thunderbolt 3 cable, so I could connect my audio interface, monitor, lots of hard drives, all to just one device. Then it also has an SD card reader, and it provides 87 watts of power to any laptop that's connected to it. Now, with the Mac Studio, I don't really need it anymore because the Mac Studio does have enough ports, but I think in my line of work, the more ports, the merrier. Now moving on, we have another item which is very new to this setup. It used to be part of my desk setup 3-4 years ago, and it's kind of now made a comeback. This is Lametric Time, which is a smart Wi-Fi clock, and you can install apps on it. It has all the basic features like clock, weather, and calendar, but you can get more advanced functionality out of it. I basically use it to just check my social media followers. Then next to it is a new plant because I need to have some natural greenery around me to keep my mood fresh when I'm working. And there are also some other tidbits like these Father's Day presents that my daughter gave me. This little pebble is particularly special to me. But I digress. Let's come back to the actual setup and talk about these peripherals. So we have a new keyboard this time. This is the Air 75 by Newfie or Newfi. They were kind enough to send one out to me when this keyboard was launching. And it's a mechanical keyboard with Gateron brown switches and RGB backlight. And the best part is, not only is it a wireless mechanical keyboard, but Newfie claimed that this is the slimmest wireless mechanical keyboard in the world. In any case, I think it feels really good to type on and also looks really nice with this pastel color scheme. Then the rest is the same as before. We have a Logitech MX Master 2S, which to be honest is due for an upgrade to the 3 or the 3S. And then this time again, we have an Apple Magic Trackpad 2, but last time it was white, whereas this time I chose space gray because I feel like it goes better with the rest of my setup. Then underneath these three, I have a desk mat by Grovemade, which protects my desk from scratches and also adds another texture to my setup. And friends, with all these powers combined, this is my daily video production and productivity desk setup for 2022. And just a side note about cable management, because some of you might be wondering, it's pretty simple really. I got an IKEA Signum rack for routing all my cables underneath the desk, and then used cable ties, Velcro straps, and hooks to keep the cables in place. And I wanted just one cable coming out of the setup, so I mounted two power bricks underneath the desk, one of which is Wi-Fi enabled, so I can control the power to my setup through an app on my phone. So there it is. Hopefully this video gives you some ideas for your own desk setup. If you have any feedback about mine, leave it in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, get subscribed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.